I'm Tori Mason. This year, Colorado is marking 150 years of statehood. Historians are celebrating the contributions of Black Coloradans and studying the way state policies caused harm in our community. A research project mandated by state lawmakers is being led by History Colorado. The privately funded effort includes a study commission comprised of state lawmakers and community members. The group has been meeting quarterly with the goal of learning how, from its earliest days, the state's government enabled discrimination.
Pushing for segregated schools, pushing for the restriction of voting rights in the late 1860s.
Michaelia White shares what's been uncovered in this effort by History Colorado and what's ahead.
So this is a historical study. It will actually focus on days of territory all the way to present day.
The Black Equity Study is focused on ways that Black Coloradans face discrimination in access to wealth, education, health, and justice.
So we'll have in total a year and a half of research. This is going into archives, collecting oral histories, engaging community through listening sessions, and to really gauge, measure, and analyze to some degree any instances of harm where the state was mindful in doing so or not as mindful in doing so, but not available or willing to prevent it.
Chloe Duplessis sees this study as a beginning and springboard for other researchers to build off key findings.
I have been surprised by the sheer volume of what we have found. 2 weeks into the study, we were able to confirm enslavement in Colorado. This was major because this was largely debated for a number of years. Persons coming here because of gold rush, persons coming here for opportunity, bringing materials and supplies, and bringing enslaved people with them to work the land.
The man for whom Estes Park is named was one of those who came with slaves, says Duplessis. Joel Estes came from Georgia for the gold rush.
Years later, when he returned to Georgia, he left with supplies and 5 enslaved Black people.
Duplessis says there were periods of time when the KKK managed banks in Colorado and discrimination was instituted in ways that exist to this day.
This is ongoing discrimination in banking, accessing mortgages, limitations on credit, building credit capacity. These things are happening right now.
The study also found how houses of worship and community leaders co-sign mortgages and work to find solutions.
You know, the community just were able to rise to the occasion is super encouraging.
As Colorado prepares to mark its 150th year and the country its 250th, Duplessis says this research is critical.
And in distancing ourselves from Black history, you distance yourself from Colorado history and American history because they're one and the same.
Once the Black Equity Study is complete, the Commission will engage a third party to conduct an economic analysis to make recommendation about how to repair the harms caused by discrimination. The 38th Star exhibit here at History Colorado documents how it took 5 attempts over 17 years for Colorado to become a state. In one of those attempts in 1865, Black leaders in Denver fought to secure voting rights for people across the nation.
We're standing here at one of these attempts at statehood that failed. And one of the main reasons it failed is because of questions about identity and belonging and whose state this would be and who had rights here.
It was on the third attempt to create the state that framers of the Colorado Constitution created what many saw as a gross injustice.
Now in 1865, they said, yes, we're ready to be a state. We want to get the train here, that kind of thing. But they put a word in their proposed constitution, and that is the word white when describing who can vote.
Barney Ford, one of the most successful business people in the territory, formerly enslaved in the South, was among those who led the fight against any form of statehood that denied voting rights to Black men.
Black men had the right to vote in Colorado territory. And when they heard this new proposed constitution said that only white men could vote, they began to organize.
137 signatures were collected for the petition demanding that Congress oppose Colorado statehood.
And there are some Congress members who say we cannot allow Colorado to become a state if Black men do not have suffrage in the state. We just fought a war over this issue, and so we cannot allow this to happen.
The effort by the territory's Black business leaders fueled a national debate about Black suffrage, and eventually Congress outlawed any territory from denying voting rights to men on the basis of race.
And this happened even before Black men have the ability to vote in all states in the United States. And so it has this enormous, larger impact.
A new law expands how Black history and culture are taught in public schools across Colorado, incorporating teaching standards for all grades. Your reporter, Brian Sherrod, spoke with educators in the largest district about how they're embracing these standards. Denver Public Schools is expanding its Black history and culture curriculum for kindergarten through 12th grades. The intent is to offer year-round, age-appropriate lessons focused on the contributions of Black Coloradans and Americans. Brian spoke to an educator and a student who fought to make comprehensive Black history education the law in Colorado.
African Americans in this country has really contributed to our current state of living. And that needs to be heard, taught, and absorbed our most precious assets, which are our babies.
I work every day to help my community become better and become a better person and help people rise up against hatred.
Atkins and Jackson say when all students learn Black history, it improves understanding. Stay with us for an update on an iconic building in Denver's 5 Points. And a voice you may well recognize, how he's helping young people find theirs. An exhibit showcasing a Colorado treasure is reimagined. Lincoln Hills, once the largest African-American recreational resort west of the Mississippi, was created as a response to segregation. Our Michaelia White shares its impact at a new exhibit at History Colorado.
A thriving mountain community and symbol of resilience, Lincoln Hills, a natural sanctuary from racial discrimination.
The food and the environment, and just such a wonderful place to experience happiness, experience fun, get out there and move around.
Terry Gentry grew up going to Lincoln Hills, and she still goes there.
My grandparents bought the cabin back in the 60s and took us up there. We were going up there almost every weekend during the summertime. Hated coming back to Denver.
History Colorado has remade the Lincoln Hills exhibit, beginning with the entrance. The KKK display that stood at the entrance is gone.
Heard from a lot of previous visitors that they didn't even want to come into the cabin. Even though the story of KKK is very prominent in Colorado and it should be told, it's not really the story of Lincoln Hills. Lincoln Hills is about Black joy.
Akoma Gaither curated the new presentation of Lincoln Hills.
Yeah, so this is another one of my favorite display cases here. This really talks about Camp Najoni. The girls would swim in South Boulder Creek.
That new version prioritizes uplifting personal stories.
We held community listening sessions where we would record folks speaking to us at shorter AME church of their time at Lincoln Hills, and then they brought in pictures.
Generations of Coloradans will see their stories here and imagine the days when legendary Black actors and authors sought refuge in Lincoln Hills.
We have the honeymoon cabin that they built, and Lena Horne, that was her favorite hangout.
They would surround the barbecue pit and just talk about life, what was happening in the world at that time.
Here in Denver's 5 Points neighborhood, an iconic building may soon see new life. Work is beginning on the historic Rossonian Hotel, once a focal point when the neighborhood was known as the Harlem of the West. The building next door is being torn down, and there are plans to construct an 8-story hotel on site. Back in the early 1900s, the Rossonian was a hub for Black social life, with jazz greats such as Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington performing here. An official groundbreaking is hoped for later this year.
There's going to be a jazz club, a restaurant, some balcony areas. So I'm just excited that I think it's going to add a lot of character and value to this corridor.
The reimagined hotel will have 130 rooms. The project is a collaboration by developers and community leaders led by Palisade Partners. It's expected to open in 2028. Denver businessman Moa Hyla, the founder of Sky Blue Builders, received the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Business Award this year. Hyla's company built the space at Denver International Airport, known as the Center for Equity and Excellence in Aviation, which will focus on preparing a diverse workforce for opportunities in aviation. The center, inspired by legends Ed Dwight and Bessie Coleman, launches this year. Just ahead, they're reclaiming their place in the water.
Well, welcome in.
And find out where you can taste authentic New Orleans flavor right here. For decades, it was rare to see Manual High School students in the Manual High School pool. The student body is predominantly black and brown, groups underrepresented in competitive swimming. The Thunderbolts are reclaiming their place in the water in more ways than one. Freshmen tend to swim against the current between school, sports, and social survival. It's like they're always treading water.
I would like to get better at my breaststroke and my butterfly.
From here, those goals don't seem so impressive, but Jereni joined the swim team without knowing how to swim.
A lot of other girls who didn't know how to swim joined the team as well, and it kind of gave me confidence to join and try something new.
In these types of lanes, you don't see girls like them. According to USA Swimming, black athletes account for less than 2% of swimmers. Often underestimated and never unnoticed.
I'm going to try to prove these people wrong because I know that what I'm capable of and I know what others are capable of as well.
Manual requires 12 girls to even have a swim team. Getting that many teens out of their comfort zone requires a leader who understands. Joya Harris is a lifeguard and their coach. The Manual alum wanted to swim here too, but there wasn't enough interest. The pool was used by another school's team.
I just didn't feel welcomed, so I didn't stay.
Then and to this day, there's still a misconception that black people don't swim.
We have to talk about the cultural implications around swimming, whether it be lack of access, there's fear.
It spans generations. Black people were excluded from pools and beaches, and that history isn't distant. My own grandparents met at a black beach in Florida.
So I do have you swimming 50 free.
Hesitation of getting black hair wet still exists, but hair care's evolved. In a community where stress is constant, she says swimming's not just a life-saving skill, it's a life skill.
So being able to learn how to manage and control your breathing under the water kind of brings you to the presence with your body.
What started as sessions staying afloat became a season of standing their ground. Today, these girls can swim and compete.
I tell them all the time, I hope you know you can do the impossible because you just did it.
With every breath, they make new lanes for the future, and lap by lap, they're taking water back.
No matter how long it takes, I can still do it as long as I keep focus on it.
New Orleans is famous for its incredible cuisine. Gumbo, jambalaya, I miss living there. Luckily, there are ways to get Cajun flavor here. Michaela White takes us to Jesse's Smokin' Nola.
It's flavorful. It got a lot of flavor. It got a lot of flavor.
Owner and chef Jesse Rayford tells Michaela how his mother is his inspiration. She raised 17 children and operated her own restaurant, serving Cajun food in New Orleans. Jesse learned a lot about how to succeed in business from his mom, Magnolia. He's named a dish in her honor.
But to bring this culture to this state is huge. It's big because I'm the only one in Parker, and I'm grateful for that. But if there's any other competition was to come in here, it would just make me even better, more competitive, because I ain't gonna let nobody come and take my customers like that.
And Jesse loves his customers, sharing stories about all the delicious flavors of New Orleans and recalling his childhood celebrating Mardi Gras. We had it for our lunch and learn, and I can confirm it's pretty good.
That's what it is, a flashback, and away we go.
Still ahead on Broadcast and Stream, how Black radio is a vital community hub, and how artists with unique personas navigate work and life. Black drag queens are essential to Denver's culture, including here at Trax. CBS Colorado recently hosted performers to share their experience and detail how much resiliency is needed to thrive in every space. Zara and Felony Misdemeanor are in the same drag family. They shared how drag performing is an expressive art form with a rich history in Denver. The Misdemeanors invest great creativity in their style and performances and say drag is often misunderstood.
It's about love, community, joy, laughter, excitement, and just celebrating our differences.
People should come because we offer a place of joy, and we want people, when they come to a show, they are so free.
Zara and Felony are beloved figures in Denver's drag scene. They are both deeply involved in the community and in uplifting Black queer youth and adults. From Brother Jeff's podcast, recorded here at the Cultural Center, to The Drop, to Dr. Daddy-O's KDKO, the soul of the Rockies. As Justin Adams explains, radio has often been one of the few places Black Coloradans could hear their voice, culture, and concerns elevated.
Think of soul music, my heart feels, because that was my dad.
For Yolanda Walker, soul music isn't just a sound, it's her father's voice.
Good evening out there, everybody. Like the man said, walk easy, my son, and welcome in for the Daddy-O to swing on the radio, the boss with the hot sauce.
For 35 years, James Dr. Daddy-O Walker filled the Mile High City with soul.
Well, he always had a gift for gab. Broke as a goat and loose as a goose and ready for anything that don't cost money.
But becoming the father of Black radio in Denver didn't come easy. When Dr. Daddy-O moved here in 1967, he knocked on doors all over the city and couldn't find work until he walked to a small country station named KDKO.
He actually went to the owner, Dave Siegel, and said, hey, I have a vision here. I know what Black music is all about.
Hey, Bill Cody, lay down a swinging sound for you.
His idea? Flip the format, bring soul music to Denver, and it worked. KDKO became known as the soul of the Rockies, and in 1989, Dr. Daddy-O made history, becoming the first African American to own an urban radio station west of the Mississippi River.
For Black people to have a voice, to be able to tell our story accurately.
He moved the station to 5 Points with a new slogan, Unity in the Community.
People would come up and say, unity in the community, and he'd say, yeah. They go, Daddy-O, right? It was his life. He loved that.
He also brought in legends like James Brown, Gladys Knight, and the Temptations to Denver.
Just like we're sitting here talking, they could be in our backyard talking, just having a barbecue.
But in 2002, Dr. Daddy-O sold KDKO.
It was heartbreaking for not just the staff, it was heartbreaking for a community.
But the ripple never stopped.
That was the first of its kind here in Denver.
Tamel Dotson, better known as Mailman, now hosts afternoons on 104.7 The Drop.
Music, I would say Black music, like that really didn't exist until Dr. Daddy-O did that.
This brings back so many, many memories.
A legacy not just of music, but of voice, ownership, and unity.
He did something that still to this day we're able to do with stations like The Drop and like Kuvo Jazz and stuff like that. Like, he directly paved the way for that.
We can't elevate Black voices without mentioning Kyle Speller. His voice is one of the most recognizable in our state, not just for how it sounds, but for how he uses it when the arena lights go off.
It's time to meet your Denver Nuggets!
If you've been to a Nuggets game, you know the voice. It gets fans on their feet and booms at every basket. His name is Kyle Speller.
Public address announcer for your Denver Nuggets.
Make some noise!
The man behind the mic.
This particular role here is the one that I love, and I'm so grateful, so grateful.
Speller's the first Black PA announcer for a major pro team in Colorado. Each day is different, and after 21 seasons, he still gets the jitters.
That's funny that you ask that. No one's ever asked that. I have an outgoing personality, but I am shy.
Off court, he's also the team chaplain, powered by faith. In a room of 20,000, Speller says he has an audience of one.
When I was born, my mother knew my father wasn't going to be there, so she told me she asked God to be my father right there in the hospital room.
Mentors along the way helped shape the man he is today.
Men of distinction, men of character have poured into me.
And while fans know Kyle for his voice on game night, the real work happens when there's no mic at all. By day, he's a school guidance counselor, athletic director, and coach, helping kids find a voice of their own.
We don't need another Nicola. We don't need another Jamal. We need a you, whoever you are. That's what we need.
He doesn't always see the results of the lives he's touched, and it means everything when he does.
And they'll say, hey, my son says, 2 minutes remaining, or, those types of things, or Superman's got her, or whatever it is. Those types of conversations happen all the time. And it's just, it's very flattering and humbling.
On this night, the Nuggets aren't just celebrating Black history. They're honoring the culture, the talent, and the voices that shape the game. On the court and off.
For me, it's all about legacy. I want to leave the world better than I found it.
It's an honor to celebrate these neighbors changing communities every day. And when we look to the past, it's not to dwell in darkness, but rather to remind ourselves that history isn't that distant. My Black history is very present. My grandma Lily turned 100 years old last year. As a Black woman in the South, she endured things we could never imagine. Her strength has always come off as grace. She's the reason I tell these stories. Thank you for listening to ours. I'm Tori Mason. Happy Black History Month.